Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me here tonight, Michael.
Hi, Chris. Happy to be here this evening.
Cool. Now, I guess just to help everyone out there, what we're doing tonight is we're essentially just going to present on the topic that you've chosen tonight about getting the most out of no matter how injured or any issues that you're having in life. You've got ways to overcome these things, and you're going to show us a few case studies and things that you've worked through with clients. I believe that's what the kind of gist of tonight's about.
It is, and I'm particularly going to focus more on, the importance of strength training, and in all the cases we'll talk about as well, how much of a role that plays. And hopefully, out of today, I want a few take-home messages of how important strength training is as well. So if you listen to this presentation and you get out of it, how important strength training is, and you take up something like this, that'll be a really good outcome of today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, you're not just a physio, you're a senior physiotherapist and a managing director of MD Health. And I guess in your spare time, you've got two kids, Sebastian and Alexander, and you hope to take more time skiing, I believe. This is something you love to do.
Yes, I do love skiing as well. The last time was pre-COVID, about 5 years ago as well. So hopefully this year, I think we've booked in at least a day in August as well. So hopefully we'll get out on the slopes again, and I'm itching to put my ski boots back on again.
Awesome. All right. Well, I mean, you do come to this with a bunch of experience, with obviously bachelors and grad dips and in nutrition and physio and masters in business admin. You're quite a diverse guy. It's not just straight out physio for you. So I look forward to seeing that experience you bring to this tonight. And I guess what we might do is get into the presentation. Now, for everyone that's going to be watching this presentation, he's going to go deeper on Wednesday in this, and he'll be there live, and you can shake his hand and high five him on Wednesday at 9:15 is when we are doing the live face-to-face presentation, and we'd love to see you there. But for now, we're going to be doing this one live, and I guess for the moment, I'm going to bring it up onto the screen
right
now. And Michael, I will let you take it away. Are you able to click on the slides that are on the screen there?
I think I can. I don't know.
Arrow in the middle. Can you see that?
I can't see the arrow.
That's right. I'll do that, and then you can talk to this slide. So talk about Pam. What's the background and talk about Pam?
I'll just quickly talk about the first slide, and we'll go talk about Pam in a second. So one of the biggest things we talk about is, that's it, great. So we believe everyone should be able to exercise and get the most out of life, no matter how complicated or complex their injuries or issues are. And what that really means is that, most people have some degree of issues that they're dealing with as well. A lot of people we see, particularly over the age of 45. And that shouldn't be a reason why people shouldn't live their best life. And, with a good design and good programming as well, everyone should be able to live their best life. And when we talk about full case examples, that's exactly the case as well. So now we'll bring Pam up as well. So thanks for that, Chris. Great. So next slide, please. So this is one of our clients, Pam, and she's been with us for about 15 years. So she first came to see us in 2008, and her major goals was to manage her hip pain and her mid-back pain as well. Since then, because they're more manageable as well, we've really been working on, improving with her osteopenia, osteoporosis as well. So what you can see her doing in this exercise as well, she's working on her hip control. Now, what this has meant for her is that instead of thinking about these pains being a bigger issue, she does more active things in her life as well. She goes hiking with her husband as well, and they love going hiking as well. He's a mad keen hiker. And it means that her life isn't about her hip or her back pain. It's something that's background noise, and her having the life that she wants to have because she's stronger is a really big part of that too. And in terms of osteoporosis management as well, and we'll talk about this a bit later as well, is that the most important thing we can do as physiotherapists or health professionals that work in the exercise field is to give people weight-bearing exercise. Now, weight-bearing exercise is one of the things that we can do to help improve bone density. And so where you put load through the bones, they're responsive. So bones are very, very dynamic, and they respond to what you ask them to do. You put more load into them, they will adapt. If you take load off them, they will adapt as well. And particularly as you get older, that process happens faster.
Yep.
And so it's really important to make sure we do weight-bearing exercise, particularly some lifts where you can't see that in that photo, but in the background. So those heavier lifts, or you can see in the background there behind one of our senior exercise physiologist, Nicole, those heavier lifting stuff is what's actually been shown to make a difference in bone density. So 15 years ago, we really didn't have a huge amount of options to change that. Now we do, and that's fantastic because you'll see strength scores or bone density scores actually go up rather than go or stay steady instead of just a one-way streak down. And that makes a massive difference to quality of life.
Yep, fantastic. And yeah, obviously her goals. Where is Pam? I guess these days she's obviously.
Well, this is her only a few months ago, so she's 66 now, and she has a very active life. She still works. She travels. She looks after her grandkids as well. She travels around to where her son is, who lives in the country, Victoria. I mean, that's the kind of life you want to be able to have. It's not restricted because of these injuries that she had 15 years ago.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so we move on to the next one.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So we've got Cad here, 76
Cad.
now. Yeah, Cad, is it? Yeah.
So Cad is a slightly grumpier old man, and he comes kicking and screaming. But he's been with us for almost about 2 years now too. So 2021 he started with us, and so he came in for mid back problems as well. So his major aim to manage that is all the hands-on treatment as well, and we know that'll give him a small amount of relief. It's really exercise-based that make a bigger difference to him. So we do a little bit of hands-on stuff with him so that he does the important stuff, which is make his muscles stronger as well. And so he reluctantly grumbles in most weeks as well. But despite that, because he does the strength work, he has a much more active life. So he'll walk down from his house to here on a weekly basis. And so will his wife as well, who has lower back problems. So she had a back operation, and it was during COVID. So all the follow-up that should have been done wasn't done. And so we saw her a couple of years later, and then really started working on making her stronger. And so that made a big difference to her life as well. And so she dragged Kat along, who reluctantly came in, and still comes in now, despite the fact he's got hip and back pain. Now, here's the big thing about that too. He does have hip pain. He does have mid back pain too, but it doesn't restrict his life. And that's the whole point. He has an active life at the age of 76, grumbling through his sessions, but we can cope with that as long as he actually has a better life for it as a result of that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's getting to the point where he's achieving his goals and he's seeing momentum.
Yeah, well, he has been doing that for a while, and so momentum is exactly where he's been going. And despite the back pain, it doesn't restrict his life, and that's the whole point of strength training. So that these pains about back pain, hip pain, all these things don't limit the life that you want to have. You want to have the most active life and enjoy it. So it's not just about quantity of life; it's quality of life. It's a really big deal, and it's doable. Something can be changed.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So I guess he's been doing it for over
a year and a half. So he's been he's one of our younger clients. He's been only a year and a half. But even then, you can still see the quality.
You love hearing that at 76 years old, the younger client.
He's only been with a year and a half. So the younger client.
Yeah.
The oldest is 97.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. 97. There we go. All right. So I guess you're going to go deeper here and talk about some of the benefits of going through some of these processes.
That's exactly it too. And this is the next few slides are really about the benefits. And it's a really big deal. So the benefits of strength training as well. So strength training, independent of cardiovascular training as well, there's several studies that shows it's prevention against heart attacks and strokes. So doing 1 hour of strength training or 2 half hours a week reduces the risk of heart attack and strokes by 70%. It's not a small number. It's a really big deal.
Wow. So strength training for 1 hour and a half an hour, 2 times a week. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been getting back into that kind of stuff myself recently, so I can see some benefits just from the small intake of what I've been doing. But if you've actually got a physical problem and you're working with them, I can see that if you got any motivation, this would be it. So
this is pretty good. And this is not, you don't have to have a problem. This,
yeah.
you know, you don't have a problem. It's a massive effect. You know, it's
Yeah.
a really big deal. I mean, strength training has a 70% reduction in risks of heart attacks and strokes. I mean, you know, it has an effect on the caliber of blood vessels, and that's why it has a big difference as well. But you know, this is what studies are showing, and so it's a huge deal. It's one of the most underestimated and most important things people do in their lives, and it really should be done throughout your till as far as you can. It is. I mean, there's a recent book that came out as well. I think it was called Outlive.
Yep.
It was described in The Age a couple of weeks ago as well, and again showed one of the most important things people do throughout the entire life is strength training.
Yeah, and I guess with COVID, you obviously noticed a lot of. I mean, I guess CAD is a good example of someone who during COVID was unable to get what he needed done, or had excuses for not getting to what he wanted to do, and then when he came out of COVID, obviously everything got highlighted. The wife came back in, and then that's how she dragged him along. And now he's seeing reaping the rewards, and I guess the benefits of what you've saw.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things we saw out of COVID, that people had lost a lot of strength, and it really affected the quality of life. Massive effect. So things that they would take for granted as normal, they stopped being able to do those things. And it's just, you know, it's from a health profession's point of view, it's just a tragedy when you see it, that, you know, people can have a very active life don't. And, you know, and they think, oh, this is my normal. It's not. You can have a better life than that too.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next slide, please, Chris.
For sure, mate. So I'll just bring that up. So we just talked about that, and I guess now we're going to talk about the next one, which is managing
diabetes and glucose control. Yeah. So the one aspect you can really control about diabetes is your muscle mass. So when you do strength training, it increases your muscle mass. Now, on muscles, there's a sensor that picks up glucose called GLUT4 sensors. And so this is the thing that pulls glucose out of your bloodstream and pulls it and lowers your blood sugars. And so these are on muscles. And so as you have both more muscle mass and you get stronger, there's a larger number of receptors per muscle that are more efficient. And so when people develop diabetes as well, they develop what's called glucose intolerance. So as they have more glucose in the system, they can't pull it out from the bloodstream. The bit we can control about that is the number of muscle mass, the degree of muscle mass, and the quality of those sensors as well. So as you do strength training, the volume and the quality of those sensors becomes larger. And so this is the bit about diabetes we can control. So we can improve our glucose tolerance by working on our strength.
Cool. And when you're doing this, you're obviously looking at other aspects than just when they're with you. With glucose and diabetes, we're talking about diet as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really...
You work with partners on that front, or...?
We can. I mean, it's really important to work with the dietitian as well. But I mean, in terms of that too, they can control what they eat. But in the end of the day, it's actually super important to do strength training as well. So this is... Because the recommendations used to be cardio. And that has a limited effect. But really, the key one is strength training. It's just so undervalued and super important.
I guess, did we define what strength training is earlier on? I don't think we did we?
We didn't define it too, but it is
strength training. So
it's loading your muscles up so that they have to adapt. They have to grow and become stronger. Okay. And that takes time. There's nothing magical about that. It's time and volume at the right loads, and you'll see those changes. So at least 3 months. It makes a massive difference. So let's go on to the next slide, please, Chris.
Expired, so what are the benefits of importance in strength training? So talk about it.
So this is huge, and this is enormous, and we unfortunately see heaps of this. So better overall cancer management. It has long been shown that people who are stronger and do regular strength training survive better if diagnosed with cancer. Strength training improves survival rate, the recovery from any surgery, management during chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and now we see immunotherapy as well, and the overall recurrence, and especially with breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer. Now, unfortunately, we see a huge amount of this in our clinic that people are going through, being diagnosed with, are going through surgery, are going through chemotherapy, are going through radiotherapy, are going through immunotherapy, that strength training is the reason why they can get through it, they can manage through recover from it, and go through the next round as well. It has very direct effects. Anyone that has going through cancer treatment should be doing strength work. It should be a non-negotiable. It has a massive effect on survival. This isn't a small percentage.
Yeah, well, again, if anyone that is watching this isn't motivated to get into strength training, I think you're giving some pretty good reasons why they should be reaching out to yourself and having a chat. So, yeah.
But wait, there's more. One more slide, please, Chris. This is a super big deal.
All right, looking forward to it. So, as we uncover it, better memory and brain function. Wow.
Yep. Out of all the things that show that you can actually improve brain function, because this strength training is the one key one that actually makes a difference. So people who have had a higher grip strength, which is a proxy of body strength, perform better in memory tests and reaction times. In this study, those who lifted weights at least once a week show significant improvements in cognitive function, such as attention. This seems to be because strength training releases a chemical from the bone called osteocalcin, which improves the size and the connectivity of the hippocampus, which is important. The hippocampus is a tiny part of your brain that has a major effect on memory and learning. So it helps you form long-term memories as well. This is one of the things that we can do to improve our cognitive function and brain function. There are a few different theory ones as well, but out of all the ones that have been proven to actually work, strength training is the biggest one.
Wow. Okay. So need to work on my hippocampus. Fair enough. All right.
Learning as we go. It's about that size, but it has a massive effect.
I thought that was the size of my brain, but clearly no, I have a bigger brain.
It's absolutely tiny. But it's super important. It's where we form our long-term memories.
Fair enough. All right. So I guess we'll move to the next slide and see what we've got here. So you're going to go back into case studies on Warwick.
No, Warwick got two more examples as well. So Warwick is also one of our clients. He's been with us about 3.5 years. So he originally came to see us for arthritis. And he's 59 years old now. He has occasional lower back pain, and we saw him last year for frozen shoulder. So he's had all these issues. He originally started with arthritis of his knees, but that's manageable. It's all manageable. And so even though he has other things that flare up, he had back pain occasionally, and he had a frozen shoulder, which needs to be managed very specifically. It hasn't stopped him living a life. And you can see there he's lifting weights. So just because he has arthritis in his knees doesn't mean he can't do these things. Now, he didn't start here. This is where we're at now. And this, for demonstration purposes, he's only lifting about 30 kilos on his shoulders there too. He can do a lot more than that too.
Right.
But he can do that. And it means that he has a great quality of life. Now, he travels extensively because of his job, and he can do that now too. It's not a limiting factor. And when he comes back, he can still have an active life because he does all the strength work. So the arthritis in his knee is background noise.
Right. Yep.
So interestingly, a study showed recently as well is that when people have a hip or knee replacement, unfortunately, most people, although it's done for pain, and the assumption is they're going to have a better life afterwards, they don't. Their actual quality of life is the same before and after the knee replacement. It's because they're not strong enough. And so unless people actively do work on these things, it won't change. No matter if you have a hip or knee replacement, it doesn't matter. You need to do the work before and afterwards to make a difference to it.
And I'm assuming that's because of, obviously, with the surgery, all the muscles and things around that joint do weaken and need to be, repaired and improved and strengthened from, I guess being used.
It's weaker anyway, because if you start doing less things, your body adapts to doing less.
Right.
And so, if I be out of pain, I'll do more. Well, you have to do more in order to do more. And so unless you're doing the strength work around it too, the operation would have been done and it was a complete success from a surgical point of view, but the quality of life isn't any better.
Yeah.
And
so
really,
guess what? We're not talking about someone getting up and walking either. We're talking about specific exercises to specific spots of your body to help.
That's exactly right. So if you have arthritis in your knees, the quality of life is going to make a difference in how strong you are. The surgery is not enough. You need to make your quadriceps stronger. You're going to make your hip muscle stronger. You're going to make ankle muscle stronger as well. And you should get a great result. If it's a good operation, and most of the surgeries are fantastic, The outcome should be fantastic, but you need to do the work. It's not a one-way ticket. The surgery won't solve it. It is part of the picture.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Warwick hasn't had any surgery. So this is a very
Yeah.
interesting one too, because this is Isabel, and she's 88 years old, and she's lifting that bar as well. So that day when we took that photo, Isabel said, "I'd like to do that one day." And I said, well, "Let's make today that day.
Let's do it today."
Let's do it today." So she lifted that 20-kilo bar there too. Now Isabel is 88 years old. She's had a knee replacement, which was okay. It wasn't great because she wasn't doing the work. And then when she first came to see us, she was having constant falls. And when I was so worried when she had that too, that she's going to fall and break her hip. So I convinced her reluctantly to have the other knee replacement done, who had done a really good surgeon as well. And she needed it done. We did the strength work beforehand, and she was very scared because the first time she had it done, she didn't do all the strength work, and it was a really tough operation. Now that she's had the operation, she did the work as well. The operation had a big difference. That left side, which she had done recently, had a much better outcome than the right side because she did all the work around it too.
Right. Wow. And she's been a client, so she was started in just post-COVID as well.
Just during COVID as well. Yeah, during COVID as well. During COVID.
Yeah.
And then we still work on those things as well. So she's a great grandmother. I think it's 24 great grandchildren. I don't remember. She's told me many times, and I can't remember as well. And she flew up to Darwin to see some of her great grandkids as well. And she can do that. She's 88 years old and has a great.
And they're about 20 kilos, so she can do some practice with the grandkids. So.
Right. She gives me a hard time whenever she's in, and she's a very mad Geelong supporter as well. So I give her a hard time back as well. But the fact that I can banter with her and see her have a good quality of life, 8 years old, that's the way it should be.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. So we'll move on to the next slide here, where we're going to talk about, I guess, specific strength recommendations. So
we better finish it off soon as well. So let's look at this one too. So this is the American College of Sports Medicine's recommendation for since at least 2009, and it's been repeated again. They haven't changed the recommendations as well. Twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week, involving most muscle groups. So that should be half an hour twice a week. Ideally 3 times, but twice a week is a great outcome.
Okay, involving most muscle groups, and I guess knowing you've got plenty of exercises that people should come see you and have a chat about.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you should be looked after by a quality health exercise professional. So physio, exercise physiologist, osteopath, people that really know this field as well. So they'll guide you. I mean, this is our job as exercise professionals. Our job is to make sure that you can do things safely and take into considerations any issues as well. They should not be a limiting factor. As you can see with the examples, this is not, a 20-year-old who, can put on, activewear and just go for it too. Although Isabel was wearing activewear as well. But, there shouldn't be a limiting factor. So 66, 76, 88. Like these are examples of people that are older. We've got plenty of examples of people that are younger, but age is not a limiting factor. There's no good reason for it.
Yeah. No. So I guess that was the end of the presentation for this evening, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So obviously what we'd love people to do is take from what you've seen tonight and come down on Wednesday and see Michael present this information again, but he'll go a little bit deeper. And
I've got a live example on Wednesday as well. I'm going to have one of our clients who fits this category. She's 56 years old. She's going to talk about exactly her experiences of what the difference is of being stronger as well. So she never thought she'd be doing strength work as well. And then 2 years later, we'll talk about what experiences are like and how her life is different as a result of that too.
Right, so you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth, basically.
You hear it from the horse's mouth. Don't take my word for it too. I want everyone to hear it from the horse's mouth, exactly what it really means in someone else's life.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the details are there, and if you're watching this before Wednesday, use the QR code there, scan that, and you can book your spot. We look forward to seeing you every Wednesday, but this Wednesday we have Michael, and he is presenting on obviously getting the most from life, no matter how complicated your injuries are. And I think tonight he's talked through some major reasons. So if you're ever on the fence and you weren't sure why you should be doing some of these things to get your strength, or if you're just dealing with pain in general, I feel that you need to reach out to Michael, and have a chat. And I'm sure he will have a plan of some sort that will get you back on track and get your life where you want it to be. So again, thanks for your time tonight, Michael. I really do appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Chris. It's been a great presentation.
Nice. Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time.